Hello all, this is Dswank, and I am in Space Engineers. Right now I'm doing post video commentary because of bad things happening to my audio, but if you look in the upper left hand corner you'll see my sim speed is currently garbage. Okay, with that I will tell you what we're looking at, which is the G.S.O Anubis E Mark 1. It's completely vanilla, and it was created by Mr. Bibbles and Starkiller93041. Now, when we finally get a look at it, because my mouse was also misbehaving at this point, I'm sorry to say. Um, Come on, mouse. um, you can see it's a very beautiful ship, and normally I wouldn't be taking the time to spotlight a ship that is already as popular on the workshop as this one is. But it just caught my eye, and I thought, oh wow, this thing's amazing. Now, one of my big problems with it, and it's partially why it looks so good, is the use of things like the rotor head caps on the sides for detail, the unfinished wheels, the unfinished pillars, all of those. The unfinished blocks cost more CPU to run than finished variants, um, which is one of the reasons why I try and avoid it. Um, Another thing, stairways, stair blocks, and ramp blocks, which the ramp blocks confuse me as to why it's the case, but they take up more processing power to generate than armored slopes. So, with all that on here, and the curved blocks, because you have to generate each triangle of the curve instead of one or two for a flat plane, it is somewhat of a hassle. But for the most part, I thought the ship was very well detailed, um, and it it looked fantastic. You've got these four nacelles on it. Um, you've got hydrogen up top, and you've got hydrogen and ion down below. You've got that big hangar bay in the back, and then you've got these ramps or ladders that once you land on the ship, on the ground, you have a way up into the ship. And I really like the way this whole setup feels right here. Um, you've got a pretty good coverage with that turret. Um, and you've got pretty good coverage with um, and my mouse is having fits again. I was not happy with it. But you've got these ramps here, which are real nice, and the way it all sort of just merges together is feels fantastic. And the whole ship is supposed to be, or so says um, the website, that the entire ship is survival ready and is tagged for with the exploration tag. So over here we have the inside of the nacelle. We've got a lot of downward thrusters. It looks very industrial. It looks kind of like a more simplified variant of the JJ Prize interior here, and I really liked it. You've got all this movement in here, which probably isn't helping my frame rate or anything else, but yeah. And then when we open this up, we go in, doors, airlock, and then we're back in here, and I test out to see if oxygen has been re-implemented, which it hasn't. And you can see, if things would calm down, the some of the screens I really like this. I really like this screen, the way the font and everything works there, and I really like these on the sides. Um, Engine pod, and I don't believe these actually are doing anything, but they look nice where they are. But let's go ahead, go through here, which will lead us into the Hangar Bay. And you'll see there's several drones. We've got 2 mining drones. We've got a repair building drone that was behind me to the right, and this is the defense drone. And the defense drone looks interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Pairing all these look nice. One of the big things, though, when you look at them... Oh, and that was jump drives up top that are layered and very well defended. But all those drones are space only. That they don't appear to work on the atmosphere or in atmosphere. Come on. Up we go. Now, to our right, unless I've gotten very confused, which is very possible, is the entryway to the, hangar control, and then these go into the upper nacelles, and I come back to that in a little bit. But you've got nice controls here. And yes, watch me fight with the fool doors. Here is basically the main cargo area, which I like. I like this area a lot. And then you've got these kind of crew quarters, which, for the most part, I really do like. And I love this. I thought this was fantastic. Very well done. You don't really need any mods for beds, now that I've seen that. I didn't think you could climb stairs at that angle either, but apparently you can. And it works kind of like a ladder. Excuse me. Just looking at those make me think, oh, I'm tired, I need to go to bed. But, yeah. And you've got storage, you've got a little control panel, and you've got lights and door control. Or window control, whichever you'd prefer. And just the level of detail and everything that went into this makes it look real nice. And I am still in the habit of always closing doors when I go through them in Space Engineers. Which, good or bad. We've got another one, it's mirrored on this side, and you have that tunnel I'm somewhat curious about at this point, but I soon figure out where that goes. Here you have kind of a control area for your resources. Tell you how much you have. I thought I saw another pathway behind me, but I did not. And then through here, we enter the cryo storage area, which is, there's quite a bit of space, storage space here. And you have more, like, this is information on functional parts of the ship. And then this is where those neck level airlocks are. I'd kind of like a sign there, and here's those tunnels I was curious about. But I'd like a sign telling me that that was the airlock, because I have to go all the way to that door to be sure. So now we continue on up here, and we get to the bridge, which I really like the bridge. The only problem I have with it is it's a bullet trap. I like these LCDs. I've still never been able to get the script to work like it does on these. So I'd kind of like that. You've got your cargo information, and then you've got this little thing, which is another nice little piece for detail, but it's one of those things that I found this putting small blocks on a large ship does slow your sim speed. For some reason, the varying size blocks do not play well with each other. Okay, and you've got a very nice view. You've got a very nice view out the front, out the sides, up here, but again, it's a bullet trap, and that is my one complaint about the bridge setup. And pretty soon I head out and take a look at the exterior of the ship, because, well, I want to get a better look at the exterior. There's a few points I didn't get a good look at, like the front of this. And I'm still faffing about inside the bridge, and I don't know why. Oh yeah, I was playing with the sensor. I've pretty much said the important parts. Hurry up. But yeah, I usually don't do post commentary on my videos because I record my audio at the same time, but it got deleted, and I'm trying a new piece of software for video recording, and I'm having to fight an issue in the fact that it is a variable frame rate. And for some reason, when I'm compiling the videos together, even though I have it set to end at 16 minutes and 25 seconds, it lasted 37 minutes. So, I'm going to have to play around with that. So, yeah. Now, I was talking about the antenna. I like the way the antennas were, but I'm also talking about how these blocks, the volume of these blocks that he's using, or he, she, them, they hurt the frame rate quite a bit. But I do love that. I love the hallways being used on the side to add detail. I never thought of that. That was something I thought was very well thought out, very good idea. Using the blast doors for detail, I do that. That's nothing particularly new. That's kind of old hat. But the detail level on the ship in general is extremely well done. And oh yeah, the use of a suspension part, a wheel suspension part on here. I have mixed feelings on this. If your system can handle it, go ahead, use it, because why not? But on a ship this size, if I was building it, because my system does not like that sort of detail, or that wet standard of detail, I wouldn't do it. But it's one of those things where not only are you having to design and engineer based on what looks good and what functions in the game, you also have to do what is functional for your system. And my system by no means is a potato. My processor is 4 gigahertz, 4 core with 4 virtual core. It's basically a version of hyper-threading that AMD uses. And then we're going to the trying to find the hangar bridge, which takes me a little bit. But yeah, I have a 4 gigahertz 4 core with basically hyper-threading or similar. Well, it's not really hyper-threading because hyper-threading equated to half a core. But anyway, I also have 2 SLI'd 370s, so meh. Now in here, this is something I dislike, is interior thrusters, because in an area that people can walk around in that's not fenced off. I mean, if they had a fence or something blocking this area off, I'd like it a lot more. I understand why they're there. It increases maneuverability, things like that. I've done it in trying to make ships that look like actual ships from a universe, but it's not something I'm a fan of doing. So, with that, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, go ahead, hit like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and I will see you next time. Until then, bye-bye.